best revenge. Heard they was sleeping again.
Yo, crypto YouTube, how's it going? Crypto Stud here with another banger. Crypto YouTube, how's it going? Thought this would be a nice song for us. Waiting for the sign for us to long this right back to the top, right? Stay tuned. We're going to cover a couple topics. I'm going to make this video brief, quick, to the point, and make you rocking with profits. Welcome to the crypto universe where possibilities sparkle like stars. With the belief that God is great, God is good, we embark on this exciting journey through blockchain and cryptocurrency. Carry hope and positivity as we navigate this dynamic world together. Whether in sunlight or seeking and beacon at night, may your heart be filled with peace, love, and the promise of prosperity. Join me on my channel as we unlock crypto mysteries with curiosity and bold hearts. Here's to success, understanding, and a touch of magic on our path. May your day shine bright, your spirit be light, and your investments flourish. Now let's dive into today's crypto adventure. I'm going to change it up a little bit. I didn't do a Sunday video. Going to do a, hopefully by the time I release this, an early Monday night video. Just switch it up a little bit. I didn't really have the content of my Sunday videos. There wasn't much, in realms of stock trading since Friday was a short day Friday by the time I got my video out Thursday night. And then Friday came around, and then, you have the weekend and such, and then Monday started. So doing a Sunday night video, I just didn't have much in terms of like stock market analysis to really do to get a sentiment for the week. Today was weird. It was a weird day in the stock market, and we're going to go over that briefly. I do want to keep this video short, to the point. We did have somebody who grabbed up our lifetime membership. I sent an email to you, whoever it is. Hopefully you're watching my video right now, but whoever it is, please contact me. You're missing the central, the indicators. You haven't connected your indicators or joined our Discord group. So I want you to get the full benefit of it. So whoever you are, reach out to me. I sent you an email. If you need, you can reach out to me on Discord. Just verify your email and such, and I can show you everything you need to do to set up if you're struggling to set it up. So yeah, I want you to have the full benefits of the group. You won the giveaway, and then I just want you to be able to enjoy the group. So please respond to my email, or find me in Discord and write to me, and we'll get you set up and in the group and get you trading with us. So yeah. So we're going to dive into some news items. We're going to go over briefly on stocks, and we're going to get into Bitcoin, and then we're probably just going to end on that. I really want to look at Bitcoin and Ethereum and make it a quick video. So yeah, let's dive in. Okay, so I went ahead and queued up some news articles just so we can roll the ball a little quicker, get through it quicker. I think the biggest reason we've had this, besides the charts, looking at the charts and knowing the charts on the daily and the weekly and the 2-day, like I spoke about in my last video, looking absolutely donkey, doo-doo. And that was the reason for that massive sell-off. We also have, this FUD news that comes out that, begin repayments in July, BTC slides under 61,000. Yeah, we've been selling and selling. This has just been a thing for so long. And it just seems like every time we start creating a new high or getting close to new highs, some new news comes out that makes everybody fearful and such. We're still in a bullish, structure, let alone that we've kind of tagged the lows of this range, but we're still in a range. And I'm going to discuss that more in this video and just kind of, hopefully take a little fear out of it. We did have a large drop. We were at 70,000 not too long ago, and now we're at 61,000. So, but Bitcoin is volatile. It is what it is. That's how things work. So when you see articles like this, just you kind of, I mean, they're good to read. They're nice to read. They're all in our Discord as well. So if you want to go back and read some of these articles and just take, what what you think out of it, you can as well. But we're still in a bullish posture. Granted, the bullish posture is, you know, shorting the tops with large amounts of volume and expecting it to fall. But again, you know, you trade the range, you wait till the range moves, either breaks down or breaks up. And I'm going to discuss that further in this video. I really want to get into details of that. So, you know, at the end of the day, I do talk highly of news articles and news moving the markets, in which they do sometimes, but other times there's just crap that comes out, and you know, you're near a bottom of the range and then junk comes out and then you get scared and frightened and then you don't take trades. So you have to take news articles with a grain of salt and watch the charts and look at the charts and analyze the charts. Now, you know, if a news article came out tomorrow and there's World War III, then yeah, you know, there's only so much you can do, right? You can only say so much and be like, well, you know, some of it's good news, some of it's bad news. Oh, don't worry about that news. But you take it with a grain of salt. But at the end of the day, you trade the chart, you see what you see in the chart, and then you go with a good guess by that, right? So this is good news in its own. Hold on, let me move my phone here. It's beeping like crazy. But hold on just a second. But yeah, okay, so I just wanted to post this and show this a little bit. We're gonna go through these. I did want to look at the AI revolution is still a long way off. Oak Tree founder Howard Marks says, I'm big advocate of AI. I think it's the future. I think it's a great thing. NVIDIA also thinks it's a great thing, as you can see from the stock. But AI is the future of us, and I think we're just barely starting to get into it. And on a note of that, Apple stock is up 25% from its April's low. Why? Because they want to inject AI into their phones, which I kind of have a heart-filled reaction to that. It's a mixed reaction to me, but I also don't like Apple. I'm an Android user, so take that with a grain of salt. S&P 500 is headed for 15,000 by the end of the decade, says Tom Lee. That's a pretty bullish forecast in its own, but I'm with it. I'm okay with it. There are some more stocks I do want to buy, and I do kind of want to have a nice little pullback to get that opportunity to buy some stocks that I've been eyeing for quite a while. So hopefully I do get that before we just rocket ship back up to this 15,000 range. Ethereum traders buy 4K calls in anticipation of record high. Again, as I said, we're still in a bullish posture, even though we had a nice market. Well, some would say nice market sell-off. Others would say fearful market sell-off. But again, we're still in a bullish posture, even though we've, collapsed and dropped as much as we did. But don't be fearful. Be greedy while others are fearful, and fearful while others are greedy, right? Japanese Meta plant wants to buy another 6 million Bitcoin. So there you go. Some more bullish propaganda for us. So that's great to see as well. And then a majority of Japanese institutional investors plan to invest in crypto in the next 3 years. Another great article. Crypto is the future. I think it's only up. Market cycle, like I've always said in all my videos, I'm a spinning record of repeating the same thing over and over again, but markets do cycle. We're still in a bullish posture, even though we've had the pullback like we have. As I said in my last video, these are buying opportunities for the future. And then when the future comes and it's super green and it's going like crazy, then you start selling. You start selling when it's green, and you start buying when it's red. Well, here's your red. Okay, what are you gonna do? So yeah, there's a lot more stock articles and such in here, and crypto news articles in here as well, but I just kind of grabbed a couple just to get quick through this within some relatively bit of speed, just to make some progress on this and get you a shorter video that's not an hour long. But yeah, so I did want to we're going to go ahead and look at the stocks real quick. I'm going to just analyze them really quick on a higher time frame level, just kind of see what I'm thinking with that. 10 seconds on here for some reason. I've been playing with that at some point. I'm still working on the indicator. I'm having some issues getting this next update out of the indicator, but still work in progress. So S&P is looking pretty darn good on the weekly still. We do have a bullish posture on the weekly, and then let's drop down to the daily. I'm pretty sure in my last video I was expecting us to have a pullback. We've had a nice little bit of a pullback. The daily's just starting to turn over. 12 hours about to get bearish divergence on the 12 hours, so I would expect that to possibly confirm unless we have a really big green day tomorrow. 8 hours looking bearish, and then the 6 hours also looking pretty bearish. So overall, I'm still leaning a bit bearish on the S&P, although we did have a nice move today. We had a pretty good move and then a swing fail pattern on here. I was noting this today as I was watching the markets. I tend to watch the markets throughout the day. I don't trade indices like index, the S&P index or NASDAQ index or the Dow index, but I do just like to watch them and see the natural health of them over the day and the weeks, you know, as they're trading, because Bitcoin does tend to move and take some movement from these trades, you know, from how this is positioned and made. Now, Bitcoin hasn't been following S&P lately, which is very odd. Normally S&P does follow Bitcoin, or Bitcoin does follow S&P pretty regularly, so it's kind of weird to see it kind of you know, detached from each other in a sense, since S&P keeps making all-time highs and Bitcoin is just in this never-ending range, which, again, as I said multiple times in other videos, we love ranges. We'll trade ranges forever. I will trade a range forever. They're just so much easier to trade than price discovery. Price discovery is great for spot buys. When you're trying to trade, price discovery does not help you. Just food for thought there. All right, let's look at NASDAQ. I remember my last video, I also was pretty bearish on NASDAQ still too, and I'm holding true to that, especially with the weekly looking, confirming that bearish top out signal. And yeah, the daily starting to turn over pretty bad now. We'll check the 12 hour here. 12 hours turning over as well. It's getting pretty bearish as well. Let's see the 8 hour. 8 hour starting to turn bearish as well. And then 6 hour. 6 hour is in a bearish posture right now. So I expect this to go down even more. Where we'll go, I kind of want to, we're about to hit the weekly P. So let's see what the weekly P gives us. I did want to see what S&P weekly P is here. We're in it right now, so I'd expect us to range. We're opening up inside this weekly P. I'd expect a ranging week for us in terms of the S&P, but overall I would be going down on that as well. I would be looking for a bearish posture on that as well. And then the Dow, I'm sorry I'm being a little quick. I'll be a little more thorough on Thursday's video. I'll try to be a little longer in a sense, maybe cut out news or something. But yeah, I'm just trying something different, just switch it up a little bit. So the weekly's a bearish posture on the weekly. I think in my last video I was looking a little bullish on the Dow, but I don't remember exactly. But it looks like it's starting to catch up to the other two indexes a bit better than like S&P and NAS were breaking all-time highs, and the Dow was just suffering and sitting on support. So it looks like it's starting to catch some steam there as well, and kind of catch up to what they've been doing, and that's creating all-time highs. So good to see. I am leaning a bit bearish to the bearish side on this, although the 6 hour does look pretty strong. 8 hours looking pretty strong still. 12 hour strong, daily strong. And yeah, the weekly's looking a little bearish, but I still expect us to move up just a tad bit more. I wouldn't mind seeing us hit this order block right here. But overall, looking pretty good for the Dow today. All right, let's check out the dollar. Ooh, dollar's making a move down. Wow. Oh, good to see that. Good to see that for Bitcoin. We did almost get this touch up here that I was talking about in my last video. I specifically remember us getting this touch up here, that being a good spot. We did actually get that. Probably not the greatest, not the prettiest touch of that high, but does it. I would really like to have seen it wick up here to like the R3 or so. But we did open up in the pivot area, so I expect a ranging market for this as well this week. But with how Bitcoin's been moving, anything is possible. The volatility we've gotten on Bitcoin. Daily starting to look kind of bearish though. So overall, I'm thinking to me, the dollar is looking kind of bearish, which will bode well for Bitcoin, especially with Bitcoin at the bottom of the range as it is right now. Now, I haven't gotten in a long position yet on Bitcoin. I'm kind of waiting for some factors that I'll discuss here shortly once we get into the Bitcoin analysis. But overall, I mean, this bodes really well for Bitcoin. We have a bearish dollar going on right now. We're coming into the 4-hour order block on the dollar, so possibly a nice little a small bounce from there, and then that could probably give Bitcoin time to just kind of move back down and cool off a little bit and give us a little bit of a structure. But yeah, we're coming into this 2-hour order block as well, so getting some bearish divergence on the 2-hour, but not quite strong enough to really get us moving, especially with these higher time frames looking as bad as they are. Yeah, 6 hours looking pretty bad, 8 and 12 looking pretty bad. Daily starting to turn over, and then the weekly's in a neutral posture right now. I don't really like how that looks. Not the biggest fan of how that looks, but overall, I'm looking a little bearish to the dollar right now. I feel like this is a perfect opportunity for Bitcoin. You know, Bitcoin's sitting at the range lows, and just a good opportunity for us to have a nice little pullback from the dollar and let Bitcoin have a little bit of breathing room. Now, I did post earlier today in my Discord. I spoke to another guy who's in here. He was just asking, you know, looking at my short and stuff, and then was asking about an area I was looking for, and I said I would kind of like to see this area down here touched before I look to actually close out any of my trade. Now, as this actually happened, I was doing some things, so I didn't quite get to close my trade out, or close a little bit of my trade out, so I'm kind of just holding on to possibly get another touch of low, and then position myself by taking some profits and then positioning myself into a long. But I'm not really in a rush yet to start longing, especially since I missed the order block on this daily. I mean, that's a pretty clean touch there. Yeah, so if you see this right here, after I remove the drawings, I got to go through and clean up the drawings a little bit. They've gotten pretty messy, but we did have this nice order block bounce right here on this bottom support area, so it was great to see that. And I probably would have taken, I was expecting to take a little bit off, but I really wanted to see how it looked. I didn't want to put limit orders there and take away from my position. I wanted to see actually how we reacted there. You know, if we had blown past this area and just fell down and then swung fill this area, I would have started taking profits down here in this area. But overall, this is looking pretty healthy. Granted, you know, it is this massive drop, but when you look at the daily like this, it doesn't really look all that bad. It looks like there's getting some health. You know, we had this nice little pullback here. The day is starting to turn up pretty nice now. We're starting to get into that really good zone, that sweet spot for us to long it. The weekly, I'm still concerned with the weekly, however. But the 2 days, let's check out the 2 days. 2 days, we actually have a bullish divergence that confirmed as of yesterday, so that's pretty big. 2-day bullish divergence are pretty large. But yeah, I did speak about, you know, the range. So exactly what is a range? Well, when you're trading, I think I have most of these here. We'll go ahead and we're just going to clean this up a little bit. Although these lines are all here because they're important areas, but they're not important areas for the moment. But we're going to just say for me, I like to, range is a very open word for me, because a range for somebody could mean something like this, or, you know, it could have been like, this could have been their range that they played, and they played inside here and then it broke down the range. Well, I like to make my ranges pretty large, and this is like the bottom of the range, this is the top of the range. Now it's all relative to what you classify as a range. Like for me, this is a range, but then within this range there's more of a range, so this right here. So now when we got this area right here and we swung fail this whole area right here, this was a perfect opportunity to short the top of the range. You know, stops maybe a little bit above high here. It's a pretty good risk reward. It's better to short here than say, you know, here after this candle falls and then you're trying to short it and then you're in a drawdown, a massive drawdown, and then, you know, Bitcoin reverses and you would have made profits, but you got scared and you got out. So, you know, it's relative. A range within a range is how I normally typically trade it. So I have like the large range that I'm trading, and then within that large range I look for swing fail pattern areas. So this would be a swing fail pattern area. And if you watch most of my videos and stuff that I post on here, I talk about swing fail pattern a lot. That is my bread and butter. Ideally, I'm a little torn with the bottom of the range here, because I would really like to see a swing fail pattern this bottom right here. But again, that becomes ugly, because then the structure kind of breaks down and you're still technically in a range as long as we get back up into this area. But it starts to look ugly because, you know, we created a higher high here, came up here, created a little bit like a couple dollars higher high, and then came back down. And, you know, this right here confirms a higher low, right? So we have our low here and then we have our higher low right here. I mean, that looks healthy. We're still kind of in an upward trend, you know. When we start breaking down here and start breaking this area, it becomes a lower low, and then that's when things get kind of sticky. But for me personally, if you remember my last couple of videos, I was calling for this area down here, and, you know, it looks sticky here too. You know, we just created a new low. But Bitcoin does that a lot, and it's kind of the perception of that on a higher time frame of like, oh, well, we just created a lower low. It's kind of washy, I would say, because we created a lower low here, but yet we went all the way to the top side again and almost broke out, you know. So it's washy to say that, oh no, we created a lower low, now we're going to zero, you know. It's washy to say. It really is. It's perception of it, right? And then if you go to the weekly, it still looks pretty darn good. I mean, that looks like a bull flag. So it's all perception of how you look at it. So I try to not really look too much into, you know, of course, if we're failing to make a higher high in this range, then yeah, like if we come up here and we get to here and then we just drop down, we create a lower low down here and then fail to make somewhat of a remote higher high in this range, then okay, yeah, you have a good solid point. But for me, if we are to wick down here and then come back up and then start getting momentum to go back to the top again, you know, for me, that's still a bullish posture. So, and that's what I was saying, like when I was reading the news articles and stuff, we're still within this range. So as long as this range stays, we're okay. Now, I was talking to another member how, you know, these wicks, like what classifies as like the break of structure actually breaking. Well, when you see a wick like this, that means that there's buyer interest is involved. Also, buyer interest is involved, and there's probably a whole bunch of people that are shorting that. So if you go to our high block that we have in our group, we kind of spoke about this earlier. Right here, I actually, and one of the members was saying that he hasn't seen this actually like this in a long time, and I would agree with them. This is a pretty large amount of shorts, and guess where they are? Guess where they are? The bottom of the range. So they see, you know, a $4,000 price swing to lows, and then they're like, oh, it's time to short. Now it's time to short. You couldn't short it at 70,000 or 71 or 72, but now you want to short it. This is where you want to short it. You see the FUD come out, you know, oh, Mt. Gox is gonna sell all their crypto, they're gonna sell it all. Oh, in July we're screwed. Oh man, we're going to zero, let me short this. And then you short it, and then you get stuck up in this, and then price rises and just liquidates you and takes you out. So, you know, bear bad news, but at the end of the day, news only goes so far. But when you start seeing stuff like this and you see everybody is shorting this, that's when things change. That's when the perception of the trade changes, and that's when you want to be trading the opposite direction, right? You don't want to be shorting down here. This isn't an area to short. You don't want to short down here. Why? This is the area where you want to see what everybody else is doing and take the opposite trade. So what is the opposite trade to shorting? Longing. Okay. So let's see how we would have done, you know, in a couple days, how we do longing that area, right? Where here, you know, everybody's shorting this area, huge short liquid, short setup here. It wasn't as much as what we have right now. It wasn't like 600. So I want to say it was like maybe 420, 450 or something. But again, this level was shorted to death, and then we had this huge candle right up and came back up here and tested at the high. And then what did everybody do at the top over here? They longed it. Everybody longed it. We're going to the moon. All this bullish propaganda came out. Everybody on CT Twitter is going bullish, and hey, we're going 80,000, 90,000. And you know, you trade the levels. I did speak at one point when we were ranging this area, you know, it could be a possibility that we hit an all-time high. We get a new all-time high. I was looking for it. I wanted a swing fail pattern of it. I wanted to trade the swing fail pattern of it. We didn't get that. I still shorted it. It's still top of the range. It's good RR. I took the trade. But you know, when everybody's doing something, doesn't mean you need to do it as well, right? So again, the same concept down here. You know, everybody's short in this area because they missed this whole area to short. So now they're shorting down here, thinking that we're just going to break this area. And these are kind of like, you could say these are kind of like the breakdown traders. Like it gets down over here, it's like, oh, this is going to break down. This is going to zero, and then it doesn't. It goes back to the top, and then you know all the shorts get squeezed, and then possibly once all the shorts do get squeezed, we do fall back down. It's a possibility. It's not that it doesn't happen, but you know, in the moment, the trade setup is there for you. You know, you have everybody else shorting, so do the opposite of what everybody else is doing, right? Anyways, rant done there. So back to what I was saying before, but yeah. You know, the daily's starting to look good. The weekly, I'm still a little bullish or bearish on the weekly, but this does take a little bit of time to play out. Now the daily does look really beautiful. I'm sure the 12 hours looking pretty darn good now too. 12 hours still kind of broken, actually, to be honest with you. Just that little move kind of just broke my indicator, right? But we did get a swing fail pattern of this chop right here over to this spot right here, so that's kind of nice to see that. Let's check out the 8 hour. 8 hour, yeah, it's kind of broken. I actually ironically haven't seen this in a while on Juxtapost, so we really had a very choppy market for a couple days there. You know, seeing that, it's funny. You can't really do much. Not a lot of indicators can really tell you, you know, what direction you're going to go when it's flatlining like it has. But I'm very happy with us getting the movement that we did. I did talk about in my last video, and I'll cue that up right now. There's really not many order blocks that are in our way for us going back down to here. Now, could we get to 60,000? Yeah, I could see us getting to 60,000. But right now, let's see how the 62,000, 62,500 range goes. This is kind of a key area that I'm looking for to see how this kind of just reacts. So yeah, I think we're due for us to have a nice little rally back. That is something I would look here too. I do want to see how we do at the 62,500, which was an old Fibonacci level of the move down, before I start looking for longs myself. But overall, I'm not angry that I missed this possible long. Market is always here. I've made great money on the short. But the opportunity for that long could have been a great one. It could have set me up for another move to the high, but I'll find a good entry and go from there. Sometimes that's what it is. You miss entries and then you wait for opportunities, right? Nobody's perfect. I'm never going to be perfect. I won't always be right. I'll always miss good opportunities. It just happens. Things happen. You know, life gets in the way, and you wait for your opportunity to strike. But for me, personally, this is looking pretty darn good. I don't really see 8 hours starting to look really good. 6 hours looking really good. 4 hours looking awesome. Ethereum, same concept. We're looking pretty good on that as well. Got somewhere's in here. 2 hour was like looking really beautiful. 4 hours looking pretty darn good too. Literally bottom out signal. And the thing I like about the 2 hour, somebody in the group mentioned it. Look at this right here. We have the exhaustion, the volatility exhausted, and that normally signals us to you know, we normally find a bottom out or we find a top out. It just varies. It depends greatly which way price is going, right? But yeah, so that's pretty much it for me. I hope this is a bit shorter. I hope everybody likes it. It kind of gets to the point. I'm not going through all the other little tidbits of stuff, but I do like to talk. I always find myself that I won't have enough content to cover, and then I get into the video and I start going into the matrix, and then I have all this info to cover and things to talk about. You know, with experience, I would say I've gotten a little bit better. I know some of you have been there from the beginning and probably seen how I've grown and molded over the time. And I hope it's been a wonderful journey. It's been a wonderful journey for me as well. You know, I do see the weekly P. You know, I don't know if we actually touched it. Sunday open. I don't really. I would kind of like to see us tap this weekly P. I don't see why we can't, right? Let's see if we can tap this weekly P and make some noise. You know, crypto Twitter is all bearish and everything. Let's tap the weekly P at 64,500 and see what we could do.